Hallo zusammen, I'm your vlog Dave. You might not think of it most of the time, but actually a word like das Ding, the thing, is a pretty interesting word, isn't it? So let's talk about it. The word. Ding is a German neuter noun, das Ding. And the first kinda interesting thing about this one is that it has two different plural forms depending on the context. Die Dinge, for many different things you are referring to all at once, still, and die Dinger with an additional R at the end of the word for rather homogeneous or consistent things you are referring to all at once. As it's the case in the English language, the German Ding can refer to many different things depending on the semantic context. The meaning. One way of using Ding in the German language is the standard or High German meaning of the word. In this case, you want to use das Ding as a reference to an item or an object or like a certain situation which really exists, but you can't or don't want to describe it further. So in other words, das Ding is a rather general term for a specific object or item. This also includes summing up different items one by one basically, and then referring to these as die Dinge. Die Sonne, Sterne, Planeten, dunkle Materie. All diese Dinge sind immer noch nicht vollständig erforscht. You could also refer to a certain event that took place, that happened. So you could say something like, schlimme Dinge sind geschehen. You can also find this word in many German sayings and idioms, for instance in Ich bin guter Dinge. And by the way, this way of using the word Ding applies to both written and spoken German. Let's move on to a second possible way of using the word Ding in the German language, and this time it's a colloquial way. This way of using the word Ding is rather limited to spoken German. So I guess we all know sentences like, Kannst du mir bitte das Dingsbums da reichen? So we suddenly forgot about the word der Salzstreuer, the salt shaker. We couldn't come up with it. But because we either needed or wanted to refer to it by using a word and not just by pointing at it, we basically came up with a substitute, with a filler word for this one. Dingsbums. So a word like Dingsbums is basically a placeholder for the word we couldn't come up with. And that's basically the whole point of this way of using the word Ding, the colloquial way of using it. Because you know about the word, but you can't come up with it for some reason. So you have many different words that kind of sound the same, but different, that you can use as filler words, as placeholders in those cases. On a side note, those words can either be masculine, feminine, or neuter nouns, depending on the article of the object you are referring to basically. So it's either der or die or das Dingsbums. Der, die, das Dingsda. Or der, die, das Dings. They all work just like the word das Ding as a colloquial word that is. Well, sometimes you just want to say Dings instead of Ding, or Dingsda instead of Ding, or Dingsbums instead of Ding. And I'm sure there are many other kind of similar words that would also fit this placeholder function, so to speak. Yeah. The origin. Today's word das Ding is basically related to and derived from kind of similar words in Althochdeutsch, Old High German, and Mittelhochdeutsch, Middle High German, which basically are former forms of the German language we know today. So back in those days, people used words like Ding or thing, basically like the English word, for something like a court case, for instance, or other contexts. Of course, the German language is quite versatile, so, well, there are many different ways of using Ding in the German language. For instance, as a pejorative term regarding a girl, das Mädchen. But we won't do that. And I think, well, those two main ways of using it are pretty much enough for now. Alright, so don't forget to rate the video and to subscribe for more videos about Germany and the German culture and the German language, yeah. Also make sure to check out the video description with social media links and ways to support this channel if you want to, obviously. So, anyway, thanks for watching, I'm your Vlog Dave, tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal.